So, speed routing. 1, 2, 3, play. At the end of this loading screen, I'm going to start the timer. Strafing with arrow keys is not possible because left arrow...
We all lost everything.
Let's see. There we go.
Everything but our stories. And they shouldn't be forgotten.
Alright, so this is actually an auto-scroller. You have to wait for this dialogue to end.
That's where
You're just stuck
all
here
of
until
our
it stops.
new stories began.
You cannot strafe with arrow keys. Left arrow key moves you left, or like turns you left, and right arrow key turns you right. So like arrow keys are tank controls. So the only key that actually lets you strafe is A and D. I don't think that diagonal movement with the controller speeds you up either. I think it's just WASD.
Remember, there was no turning away. It advanced.
Yeah, it's how old school. Like, arrow keys are tank controls.
Purposeful.
And there is an option to use point and click interface, where you like click on the place where you want to go and your character moves there.
Found us, each of us.
So it's hella old
We
school.
should tell these stories because
Let me check OBS. I have dropped 13 frames, which probably shouldn't show up to you guys. Although my bitrate is shitting itself. Yeah, I don't know. One thing I have not yet tried is plugging in multiple controllers and just holding up on all of them, because I only own one controller. Also, this is a loading screen. You will see many of them throughout the game, and they take forever. Hello, Tiger Man? Yeah, these particles are not going to encode very well at all. Like, I might have a high enough bitrate where it might work if you watch on source, but for most of you, this probably is going to be super ugly. Hopefully my hand's not going to hurt from... Alright, so the way I do it is I have one of my mouse buttons on up arrow, so I don't have to, like, actually reach over to up arrow. And then my left thumb is pressing up on the thumbstick, and my other fingers are doing WASD. I'm not surprised that it's messy. Alright, so everything up until now has been an auto-scroller. And now the fun begins. I'm going the wrong way. I'm not used to moving this fast. Also, the game has a lot of hangups because it doesn't expect you to move so quickly, so like there are areas that aren't loaded in by the time you get there. So that's fun. Hello. Hello, Toon? I would love a co-op run where just like 10 people had controllers and they all added up to increase your speed. I'm hoping the game isn't quite that broken, because then, like, you would... Also, the game has wrong warps. I only know of 2, and this is the only one I'm going to be using in this route. But, you can just, like, warp down here. It's pretty fun. Is that the right way? I hope so. Yeah, it is. Hello. Ah. I should really just, like, take wide berths around everything, because even if I don't, like, turn tight corners, it's not gonna matter much at all. Controller, I just have it sitting below my keyboard on the keyboard tray, and I'm using my thumb to do the control stick. Fortunately, you don't have to use space at all. Space is used to take pictures, which is also buggy and can crash your game, and the pictures often are, like, mislabeled. So that's fun. What do I do after this? Move back to CW? Yeah. Do that real fast. Do I have to do that now, actually? I don't remember. I'll have some time to figure it out. Is there anything else you have to do up here? Yeah, turn on the water. Alright, that was a roundabout path. You can get down here like before the thing even arrives. It's pretty fun. I actually do have to move the propeller gate. Alright, where is it? There it is. Alright, I actually have to do this now or else I'll forget. You cannot fall off ledges. You can you can wrong warp off of ledges, but you can't actually fall off them. Unfortunately, pressing up arrow key while in the cart doesn't make you go faster. Otherwise I would. Okay. Hello? This game is bad. I think this game is really quite bad. Like, it's buggy in ways that I'm demonstrating. I got multiple soft locks in my casual playthrough, it just straight up crashed 4 times, its loading screens are absurdly long, and I think its puzzle design is rather poor. But I enjoy speedrunning it, so there you go. And yeah, the shadow, like, all the quality is set to very, very low, so like, the game looks a lot prettier than it is here. Like, that's not something I'm gonna trash the game for, because I'm a speedrunner and I have settings set to low. Get over there. Hello? There it is. I am not Asian. I am American. Hello. Probably the biggest knock against the game that I have is the iteration time for the puzzles. Like, there are a lot of puzzles where the time delay between figuring out a solution and seeing if that solution works is like 5 minutes. Mostly because of loading times, but also because you have to walk so far many occasions. That was one of the big turnoffs, but also the puzzle design generally is pretty bad. Get over there. Alright. Open gate, down ramp, activate power, open garage, warp behind community center. Like you'll see throughout the speedrun. Hello, Kayla. Go. Alright. So there is some RNG in the run. It's faster on average not to rely on RNG, but it's faster in best case to rely on RNG. So the thing I do here is I pick up a compass, and what's on the back of the compass is important for a puzzle. But you can also just brute force the puzzle. New York. Alright. Four, 4, 1. Yeah, I'm pressing 4 buttons to move this quickly. Each button makes me move faster. Well, one of them is a controller stick, the other 3 are buttons. 2 keyboard buttons, a mouse button, that's... let's concentrate for a bit. 4, 4, 1... 6, 9, 3... Oh god. That's 6, right? 3. Let me go. Loading screen. That's the shortest loading screen by far. The one to get out of here will be much, much longer. Hello, Seeking. Hi, Skyla. Hello, Fez. Hello, Scoot. I haven't tried using the D-pad. I don't think it would matter. I hope it doesn't. Double back warp, lower junkyard shortcut, swap to insect land. I don't know if multiple keyboards would help. I don't know if multiple controllers would help. I kind of don't want to know. Also, I'm expecting the game to crash at some point during this run because it does that a lot. I think it has a memory leak or something. Hello, Zach. I think this game is quite bad, but speedrunning it is okay aside from these load times. There we go. Also, it's going to hang up right here, because that's what it does every time you leave the tree. The game does not have customizable keybinds. I don't know how long the run is expected to take. There's another guy that did a run of this that took like an hour 40 minutes, but he also did not use this speed glitch even though he knew about it. So this run will probably take much less than that. Although this is kind of more of a routing run just to like confirm that my route works, so I might pause from now and then to like update my notes. Also, competitive speedruns of this game won't really exist until we take out load times, because load times are ridiculous. Keep forgetting which way that lever goes. Also, the loading screen is super unfriendly to streamers because you can't encode this. That was the wrong way. Get up there. Yeah, this is my first time actually like playing the game running at this speed. I didn't know about the speed glitch until like a couple hours ago. So I'm gonna be a bit jerky with my movement for a while. I keep forgetting that you have to do this thing. This thing as well. And now we wait. I'm glad I have her approval. Or his approval. This is not on an SSD. My SSD does not have enough space for this game. This game is 16 gigabytes. My SSD total is like 64, and it has my operating system. That's not what I meant to do. That's also not what I meant to do. I need to go around. Okay. Nope, not that way either. Where is it? Is it here? Yeah, it's here. I don't even know what SSD I have. I bought it with my computer like 4 or 5 years ago when I built it. It's pretty old. Alright, Zach, see you later. Please tell me you at least remember Ritzmitz. This game is $30. It was gifted to me by Jeffrick. I hadn't heard about the game until he gifted it to me, so I'm like, alright, I'll have to give it a shot. Then I thought it was a terrible game, but I still appreciate it. You have no idea. Like, there's one puzzle where you have to wait through about 10 of these loading screens. It's awful. I mean, I have things to do, Wodar, but it still helps to express how absurd these loading screens are. Hello, sheep. What do I even do here? Move propeller gate and then cart over to junkyard. Gotcha. Yeah, this is a loading screen. I thought the game crashed the first time I had to wait through one of those loading screens. And this game is bad. I do not recommend it. I have never worn a ferret costume. I'm not really interested in doing so. What would happen to the encoding if I looked around really fast? I mean, I can. For some reason, it's not letting me look around right now, though, which is kind of weird, but whatever. It's probably because I'm in the cart. That sounds like fun, Snid. Hello from Dark Hell? The loading times when you return to the hub are definitely worse than the ones where you start in the hub. Douche sex? I think you mean day of sex, actually. I have dropped additional frames. Like, every time I get to a loading screen, OBS complains. Like, the bitrate is all over the place. OBS just shits the bed every time I hit one of these loading screens. I mean, day of sex is also a mispronunciation. I mean, it's meant to be like Myst. Like, it's supposed to be a spiritual successor to Myst. Like, a lot of the same people who worked on Myst work for this game. I don't really like Myst. I think that Myst is a poor game by modern standards, and trying to replicate it is not a good idea, and this game is a good example of why. Yeah, this loading is absurd. There's a lot more of it. I don't know about the end. Oh, this is Unreal Engine, yeah. They used Unreal. I don't know what other games they've done, actually. Like, I hadn't heard of this game before it came out, and Jeffrey gave it to me. Yeah, like, this game has been getting a lot of praise from, like, everybody else. Like, I think it's bad. Everybody else, like, on Metacritic and Steam reviews and all that, think it's good. Take that for what you will. What's the worst game I ever played? I don't know, because all of the really bad games I've ever played, I only played for like 5 minutes. So it's hard for me to choose among them. Although I'm tempted to say Resistance, like the board game. Because that game has caused me more problems at GDQs than any other game could possibly cause. To the point where I just refuse to play it anymore. The worst game I played all the way through. I don't really know. This game would be up there. I'm not gonna count like Flash games on Newgrounds and stuff like that, because I'm sure I played some terrible ones like 10 years ago. I don't even know. I did get gifted Bad Rats like everybody else did. I haven't really played it much. I'm gonna check to make sure I actually hit that, because I'm not convinced right now. Okay, I did. Where am I going? I'm going back here. And now I'm scrolling down my notes. Where am I? There. What's my least favorite question to get during a stream? Not the one you asked, because that's actually a pretty interesting question that I will have to think about. That's the wrong way. Hello. The Witness is so superior to this game. Like, the worst puzzle in The Witness is better than the best puzzle in this game. I will point out the best puzzle in this game. Because, strangely enough, the best puzzle in the game has the worst puzzle-solving experience in the game. You will see why. I mean, Spy Party is one word, so SP is not an acronym that applies to it. And I cannot, off the top of my head, think of any games that have the acronym SP. Although I'm sure I've played and possibly speedrun some. Yeah, this game has very few things that I would call puzzles. Like, 90% of the time that I spent stuck in this game, the solution was find the button that you passed over before. Like, this game has the 3D equivalent of pixel hunting. Where is forward? I would like to forward. Alright, I figured it out. I might just have to not strafe for a while, because I'll probably have better movement. Yeah, if you, like, stop moving, there's a little bit of acceleration that can mess you up. 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 And this. I'm actually probably going to go on a longer rant about why this game is bad. And I will get to introduce you guys to Extra Tricky's blog, because he does a good job of explaining why good puzzle games are good. If you would like to read ahead, go to extratricky.com and look through the blog archive for his post about, like, the characteristics of good puzzles, or the traits of good puzzles, or something like that. Every time it goes to that pixel thing, I'm like warping between different worlds, or swapping between worlds. Warping is a term of art that I use for something different. Like, there are 4 total words in this game. One of them is an absolute joke, and the other 2 are fully fleshed out areas. Talos Principle is real good. It's really, really good. Steven's Sausage Roll is the best puzzle game I've ever played. It's so good. So good. The Witness is also a really good puzzle game. Like the Witness and Steven's Sausage Roll and the Talos Principle are like the trifecta of good modern puzzle games. And Steven's Sausage Roll is the best of those. Which of these do I get rid of? Turn off lower left power. Get on the thing. I don't even hate that about Steven's Sausage Roll. I don't mind its linearity. I think its linearity is actually pretty appropriate for its endgame. Yeah, Mr. Swats has it right. At least I think so. I have not played that much of Snakebird. Extra Tricky knows what good puzzle games are, and he really likes Snakebird, so I think Snakebird is real good. But I haven't played enough of it to be able to say that from personal experience. And I've watched too many of Tricky's speedruns of Snakebird to be able to like play through the rest unspoiled. This game is awful. And this loading screen is awful. It started at 31:25. Let's figure out where it ends. I don't even know what my biggest complaint about Steven's Sausage Roll would be. It's so perfect. Hey, Distortion. Congratulations on getting the Bioshock Infinite record. It's good to see that game getting attention. I'm not surprised that it's lagging. Like, these loading screens are terrible for encoding, so like my bitrate is all over the place right now, and I'm dropping frames. And because the screen looks like this, there's nothing I can do about it. It was 31:25, right? So we're coming up on a minute. Still waiting. One minute. Minute and a half. Hello, Daedros. Almost 2 minutes. I think it's done, though. Alright, that was like 5 seconds shy of 2 minutes. This is on a hard disk drive, not a solid state drive, so your mileage may vary, but yeah. And you have to wait through multiple of those loading screens to solve many of the puzzles in the game. Also, I should carefully count how many times I have pressed this button because the number is important. That was 3. Lagging screens. Seems appropriate. That was 5, right? I know what it should look like when I get up there, so it's fine. One more, actually. I wonder if you can make this thing warp. Okay, no, you can't interact while it's moving. I do not blame you, Terrendal. I do not blame you at all. This loading screen is going to be shorter. The ones that lead back to Hunrath, which is the main hum world, are definitely the longest. Coming back here is quite a bit shorter. Buzz. Okay. And that's what happens when you get to the place too quickly. And it had to load again there. And it turned me around because of that load. Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. That is amazing. I do go back through here, right? Let's see. Swap to Hunreth tree. So yeah. What? And guess what? Loading screen. This loading screen does not have the dots, fortunately. I did not play Riven. I would assume that Riven is better than this game, given that this game is shit. It's a safe assumption that most games are better than this game. And again, I dislike this game, most people love this game, so it's just me talking right now. If you think this game is good, that's cool. Many people do. And I'm not going to argue with them, I'm just going to explain why I think it's bad. Part of why it's bad is because you can move at 340% of intended speed by just pressing more buttons. Yeah, like, I don't really like Myst. I think Myst is a poor game. Like, I understand why it was popular back in the day, but it's not the kind of game we should be making these days. Like, adventure games in general have a lot of, like, inherent game design problems that modern games don't have. And, like, I understand that people feel nostalgic for it because there were many good adventure games back in the day, like, for the technology that existed. But they make for very poor games today. And yes, this always hangs up here because that last load didn't actually load everything or something like that. And now we move to the world where the main mechanic is swapping between this world and the new world to solve puzzles, which requires at least 2 loading screens. Also, one note that I'm not sure anybody here cares about, but I should probably talk about, is that there is something that happens that some people call like an ending to the game that I do not consider an ending to the game. So what I consider any percent would be all trees for other people that run this game, of which I only know of one. So I'm running like the equivalent of the full game category. There is a shorter category, which I don't think should be considered beating the game, that other people consider beating the game. Yeah, I would, like, we need a load remover. Until we get a load remover, this game cannot be competitively run. Like, games like Telos are a good natural progression of, like, a game that learned a lot of good game design lessons from previous games, including Myst. Whereas this game, like, tries to recreate Myst with all of its flaws. And it brings to light a lot of flaws that Myst had that back then nobody really saw as flaws because nobody knew any better. Hello, Dread? Also, as soon as this loading screen is done, we're gonna have another loading screen. Like, the first puzzle in the plant area is to wait through 2 loading screens. Like, you interact with the only thing you can interact with, which causes a loading screen, and then you go back, which causes a loading screen, and then the puzzle is solved. And that's a puzzle. It's really like a tutorial and introduction to the way that the world works, but it's not so much a puzzle as a tutorial as just, here's a lever, there's a loading screen after it, figure it out. I don't know. It's awful. How was your guys' day? Mine was pretty good. It got worse once I turned on this game, but, you know. What can you do? Left. So many dots. Alright, I'm just gonna like move the camera around a bunch, which causes my game to lag as well as OBS to lag. So like this is a terrible idea, but I'm going to do it just to illustrate how bad of a loading screen that is. Oh, it's hilarious. How do I get back? Alright. There's the path forward. This way first. Spaceships, ooh. Alright, I am terrible using this thing. I'm really bad using this thing. Got it. Nice. Alright. And now for a puzzle that I think provides a pretty good illustration of why the puzzles in this game are bad. This is a puzzle. The first time I solved it, I did so by brute forcing. There are many other versions of that puzzle in the future, all of which can be solved with the same solution. And now we wait through 2 more loading screens. Yeah, Vavasor's right, like, these dots don't actually impact loading much at all. It was a puzzle. I'll explain it in detail, somewhat. It's not that they... I guess they repeat the same puzzle. I'm not sure if you can call it a puzzle. Like, it's a panel where some things you can input allow you to cross and others don't. But the pool of stuff that allows you to cross, like, the solution space is very large. Like, if you just try random possible solutions without, like, trying to figure it out at all, it might take on average, like, 20 times to solve it. And then you can just repeat that solution for the, like, 7 or 8 or more times, probably 7, that puzzle appears in the future. Like, it took me about a minute to figure out. And the huge problem with that puzzle is that the only way to figure out how it works is to try stuff and see what happens. And you will almost certainly stumble upon the solution by accident before you can, like, sit down and say, okay, how can I piece together what I've learned so far to, like, think of what the solution might be? Right? Like, nobody sits down, says, okay, I think this might be a solution, inputs it, and it's like, okay, I was right. Everybody just tries stuff until it was right, and then was just like, oh, I guess I got it. And then that puzzle does not ever evolve. There's one evolution of that puzzle which is actually kind of interesting, which I do like. Also, you thought we were done loading? Nah. Nah. There's one puzzle that expands upon it, which is actually pretty decent. That I did like. Actually, I think, yeah, the evolution of that puzzle is probably the best puzzle-solving experience in the game and the second best puzzle in the game. It's one of maybe, like, 2 good puzzles. So that's pretty fun. Hello, Diego. Oh god, how do I do this? How do I do this? Hold on. What was I doing? Take opposite swaps far than near. Okay. The solution to this is something that I still need to test more. I'm not sure it's optimal, and I need to think about it. The first few things I do are definitely correct, and then after that, I actually need to think about how to optimize. These loading screens are not going to be as long because it doesn't have to load the hub world. But there's still going to be about like 8 loading screens as I solve this puzzle. Vavasaur, this is the worst part of the game for loading because the central mechanic of this entire world is waiting through loading screens. Not joking. Low res of sound. Where is Uni?
No! No! Ah!
It's been a while since I checked the audio on Botnak, but I'm okay with that. This game is better than that voice acting, by the way. This game.mp3. I approve. Alright, and here's where I input that brute force solution again. So that's pretty fun. Alright, and now I actually need to figure out how to solve this quickly. Okay, so I cannot do anything right now. So the only possible thing is to warp back. How does this puzzle work, actually? This is weird. Yeah, these loading screens are much shorter. Because the area that it loads into ahead is, like, not nearly as expansive. Alright, so the developers knew that loading times in this area would be a problem, because the area I'm loading to now is part of the hub world, but it's part of a subset of the hub world that's its own loading zone. So, like, they knew not to load the entire hub as you were solving this puzzle. But they still thought that this load was a good idea. That this puzzle was a good idea. Okay, so that... Alright, so that one went away, so now this one swaps, leaving that. Okay, so this actually is the optimal solution for this. I'm doing this in the fewest possible loading screens. So let's count how many loading screens that is. 1, 2... Let's see... 1, 2... 3... I don't know, like 7? I think it's 7. Also, the puzzle after this has more loading screens than this does. I would estimate that load removal would save at least a third of this run. I don't expect this game to be a competitive speed game, not just because of the loads, but because there isn't really much you can do to make it faster. Like, this run is actually reasonably optimized. You could probably improve the route, because this is just a route that I came up with last night. But I don't really see, like, skill testing parts of it. It's just how to move quickly and have a game that doesn't, like, a computer that doesn't hang up. Alright, so we're finally done with that puzzle. And now we get to the best puzzle in the game and the worst puzzle-solving experience of the game. I actually need to scroll my notes down. Okay. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? Okay. Alright, so this puzzle back here, which I'm going to take a brief detour from, is the best puzzle in the game, but the worst puzzle-solving experience because you have to wait through a minimum of 12 load screens to solve it. If you completely optimize it, it takes a minimum of 12 load screens, with my solution, which might not be optimal. The first time I solved it, it took probably closer to 30 load screens. Like, the loading screens don't look bad, at least to me. I'm sure they look worse to OBS. Like, OBS is not having a fun day right now. Also, this loading screen is loading the hub world, so it should take about 2 minutes total. Speed walk. Speed run. So when you hit caps lock to switch between auto walk or auto sprint and not auto sprint, it says speed walk and speed run, which is pretty memey. I like it. This game is 16 gigabytes, which is too big for my RAM and too big for my SSD. So we wait. I soft locked. I can fix it, but unless you know to fix it by wrong warping, I soft locked. That's how easy it is. God, this game is awful. Like, I literally could not move. The only way to be able to move out of there is by activating the point and click navigation and then deactivating that. I'm sure it does specker. There's nothing I can do about it. Like, whoever designed the game just didn't think anybody would stream it. Like, I'm aware that it causes everybody's bitrate to be awful, but that's the way it is. Alright, so this right here is the fourth world. The developers promised 3 worlds, of which... or, like, 3 worlds and a hub, of which this is the 3rd world. And the stretch goal would be to add a 4th world. Keep that in mind. Where is the tree? There it is. Alright, so the goal in each world is to water the tree. I have watered the tree. Alright, I have now solved this world. Speedrunning is fun other than the load screens. It's a bad game casually, in my opinion. It's gotten good reviews from like everybody else, including Steam reviews, so like you might enjoy it if you haven't been spoiled. But I think it's really bad. It has bad puzzles. The long loading screens make the puzzles even worse because you have to wait through multiple loading screens to solve many of the puzzles. I don't know. I'll talk about it later. Like, after the run, I'm going to pull up Extra Tricky's blog and go point by point about, like, why this game has bad puzzles. And I'm pretty sure every single record I upload to YouTube of this game, every single loading screen, I'm just going to shit on the game the entire time, because it deserves it. I don't think the developers are going to want to promote my runs. I'm okay with that. What do you mean by uploads? I'm speedrunning it because, like, when I play most any game, there's always, like, the possibility of speedrunning it in the back of my mind. Like, I'm just used to thinking in that way. And, like, I didn't enjoy the game much, and I think it's a bad game. But I was still thinking about what a speedrun would be like. And when I finished it, I was still interested. And then I found that you can move at light speed everywhere because the game has bad programming, which made me even more excited to run it. So, like, this is kind of my way of, like, trying to squeeze out actual value from the game. Yeah, you can post links. Links are fine. I mean, like, some links are not fine, but I'm assuming you know the difference. And loading screen. Oh, is the thumbnail just the loading screen? I'm not surprised. That's half the game. If the thumbnail is a loading screen, it is an accurate representation of playing this game. I am perfectly fine with that being the thumbnail. Like, when I when I upload this to YouTube, every single thumbnail for every run I do of this game is just going to be the loading screen. Okay, now I actually have to pay attention because solving this puzzle is not the easiest. I have plenty of time to think about the solution during these loading screens, fortunately. Also, if anybody knows this game and wants to, like, help me out, figure out a better route for this puzzle, because I'm not convinced that I have the good route for it, but this is the best I have. Also, I soft-locked on this puzzle, and because I'm such a good speedrunner, I figured out how to fix it. Allow me to tell you the story as we wait for the game to load some more. Alright, so one of the things you can do with this puzzle is rotate the entire thing 90 degrees. There was one time where I was doing this puzzle, and then I went off to do something else, and the game crashed, because the game crashes from time to time. The autosave that I loaded was while I was solving this puzzle. Specifically, it was while the big ol' thing was rotating. So when it loaded in, the disc was there, but it was rotated 45 degrees, because the autosave was, like, in the middle of it rotating. And you can only move it in 90-degree increments. And if it is in anything other than a 90-degree increment, you cannot, like, pass through it. It's unusable. You can still rotate it and mess with it, but you can never win. Like, use soft lock. Basically, if you load a game, if you save the game and then load it, as this big thing is in motion, you can no longer win the game. I figured out what happened, and so I forced the game to save again while it was halfway through another turn, and it fixed it. It was hilarious. That's probably true for other things too. I would not be surprised if there are other things where like you can save in the middle of it rotating, and it'll just be stuck halfway through rotation. And I really hope that my notes are correct about how to solve this, because if they're not, it's gonna take some loading screens to figure out how to fix it. This game does not have quick saves. Every time you enter the menu, the game saves. And the game does not keep backups. When it saves, it overwrites your only save. You can only ever load one save. If you get stuck in geometry or something and you pause the game, that save file is forever unusable and you have to start over. Which happened to me, of course. So L, underswap, and rotate 2x. And again, this is the best puzzle in the game, but it's the worst puzzle-solving experience because loading screens. Like, they took their best puzzle, and they fucked it. So through path and back. Also, I would fully encourage anybody playing this game to use the speed bug to just play it, because there's far too much walking in this game. Alright, now we see if my notes are actually correct. Yay! After you do that, what do you do? Left and then mind swap. Alright, so to do the speed bug... Alright, so there are three ways to move forward in this game. You can press W, you can press the up arrow, or you can hold up on a controller. If you do all three at the same time, you just move at triple speed. So just like bind a mouse button to up arrow? No, is this right? Yeah, this is right. Mind swap, rotate 90, underswap. Okay, this is correct. Also, if you move diagonally, you get another 40% speed boost, which is why you see me moving sort of sideways all the time. So I'm holding up on my controller, which is like underneath my keyboard. I'm pressing up arrow with a mouse button. I need to rotate 90. And I'm pressing W and D with my left fingers. So like whenever I want to move, I have to press 4 buttons, because every single one makes me move faster than if I didn't press that button. It's so good. I'm just glad it doesn't have bunny hopping. I don't have any way with my SteelSeries mouse. I need to figure this out. Left underswap. I don't have any way with my mouse to bind a controller direction. Like, you could probably do it with auto hotkey. That's kind of getting into, like, too many macros for me to be comfortable with. But I'm not going to complain. Alright. So, underswap. Top button. Underswap. This game does not have jump. It just doesn't have a jump. Instead, space takes pictures, which is a kind of cool way to like be able to take notes. So top button, underswap, right, follow path, left, follow path. Okay. If my notes have not messed up, I have finished completing this puzzle. Alright, so space takes pictures. So it has a screenshot button. I hope it doesn't also make you move faster. The problem with the pictures is that the game sort of messes up indexing, so like you click on one picture, and it pulls up another picture. And like many people have that problem, including me. So a lot of the pictures you take are not actually accessible, and the ones that are accessible, you have to click on the wrong picture to be able to view. Alright, I have successfully solved this puzzle. It probably will, Chops, but I'm gonna live in blissful ignorance for now. Hello? There we go. Need to scroll my notes down. Okay. Also, there are many things you can read, you know, in Myst. You like pick up a book and you can read parts of it or somebody's journal, and that's cool, you know. That's pretty sweet. Yeah. The problem is, I hope I didn't just glitch out. I think this is good. Okay, we're good. But the books you pick up and can read all have super tiny text. They only take up, like, the center quarter of the screen or something, probably less. And they're really hard to read. It's so hard to read a lot of the stuff in this game. Like, I just stopped reading anything after, like, 10 things that I tried to read, because it was just getting annoying. Like, it has cool typography, it looks authentic and whatever, but you can't freaking read it. So what's the point? Also, the most interesting looking puzzle element is a joke about puzzles that are too complex, which I feel personally offended by, because I would have loved to have a puzzle as complex as the one they're making fun of. I don't actually know if you have to walk in there to trigger... Oh, wait! Oh, interesting, okay. 3, 2, 3, 1. Alright, hopefully I remember how to do this. Please work. Whoa, okay. At first I thought it moved without me, and I was like, that's not right. Also, I moved around while this was moving up once, and I just fell through it. Yes, I inputted it correctly. Nice. Alright. I don't actually know if you have to, like, look at them closely. And now the fun part. Actually, I can just do this, can't I? Yes, I can. And that should take me back. Alright, I don't want to move because I might fall through this thing. And that would be bad. This game is made by Cyan, who have a lot of people that worked on Myst. Or some number of people that worked on Myst. That's a thing they advertise. Alright, so there's a bomb up here. If you walk near to it, then it explodes and the credits roll. Other people consider that to be an ending of the game. I don't. So again, I consider this run to be any percent. Oh god, okay. I don't actually know how to solve this, specifically. I never figured it out. So I'm hoping that this is an appropriate solution. No, it's not. There we go. Okay. I don't know why... I don't know how that puzzle works. Maybe I'm just dumb, but I'm pretty sure that it's either bugged or has a rule that I just haven't figured out yet. Which is perfectly legitimate. However, I brute forced it because you can do that for almost all the puzzles in this game. And now, 2-minute loading screen. The plot is a Myst plot. I didn't really care about the plot much. It's very, like... It's very mysterious and environmental and sci-fi. And I generally do like sci-fi, but this one didn't really get to me. Like, the plot is probably strong, it's just not one that really appeals to me personally. Other people tend to really like the environment and the plot, so there you go. I mean, The Witness has puzzles. This game sort of doesn't. And the ones it has are bad. I hate that lag. That was not the most efficient way to go there, but because I move at light speed, it only wasted like a second. Where am I going? I'm going up here. Do you guys want good ending or bad ending? Bad ending is slightly faster. Like, you only have to do one thing to trigger the good ending. I'll leave it up to you guys. I don't really care either way. But you have to answer pretty quickly. It's one bad, one good. Bad because the game is bad. I approve. I think bad ending won. Yeah, bad ending definitely won. At the time I had to make the decision. So we are doing bad ending. And when I say bad ending, I mean it's kind of a bad ending. Like, just generally. But that's up to your opinion. That's subjective. Neither one soft locks. Like, the game, like, the timer is about to end. The timer ends when you trigger the ending. So this is the end of the game. Kablamo. Also, I'm pretty sure these explosion effects are literally FMV. Like, that initial explosion just looks like FMV. It looks like an explosion against a green screen. And then those are actually particle effects.
Almost there.
It's so bad. Like, I'm pretty sure that was a stylistic choice, by the way.
Way of things to happen.
I'm pretty sure that that explosion to, like, FMV is a stylistic choice.
Pass.
Yeah, this is world record by, like, over half an hour.
I don't move real well. Carson legs. You can see how useful these tracks is to me.
And again, like, this is on low settings. The game actually looks pretty beautiful at high settings.
Critters.
So, don't judge the game for that.
We're going home.
But yeah, the explosion is definitely 2D. I'm not going to edit out load times, because that would take a long time.
Right. When the time comes, it works a lot like them little swappers. They'll swap
Ugh.
us home. You didn't spend much time here, and that ain't a bad thing. But there were some fine folk